Good mythical morning, Bogur Nation. We have a brand new, very hot lady hitting the Marvel Rivals roster, and this time it's a strategist, White Fox. Now, her kit is pretty fun, she looks very interesting, and she might be very similar to another game because they're both supports and they do very similar things. Now, before I begin, very quick note, I'll be selling these Glore plushies that I've sold before as well. They're gonna be back on sale very soon on March 20th. So if you want to grab one, you know, you can grab one whenever I start selling them again. I'm going to showcase all of her abilities. The kit is very simple, very fun, which I enjoy if you've watched any of my streams. I enjoy characters that are very basic in terms of not having too many abilities and yet having a lot of skill expression. Yet again, we have another character with charges. So her charges are these little tails and they actually show up on her character. The way you charge up the charges, that's her passive, is by shooting enemies, right? So you get 2 tails and then you get 3 tails whenever I get the 3rd charge. I think also healing affects this, right? So now I have 3 tails. This is a really cool visual indication of your charges. What do charges do? We're gonna get into that very soon. First and foremost, her basic attack is this, and it's very interesting because it's a unique primary fire. Now it bounces and bounces once, and whenever it's done bouncing, it disappears. Actually, it bounces twice, right? And it hits. Let me just double test this. I'm pretty sure it bounces once. We're learning together, right? So it bounces once. When it's done bouncing, so if I hit the ground, it auto locks to an enemy or an ally and heals them. This also damages and heals. This can hit 2 allies, by the way, right? So if I hit this person in a angle, yep, right, so they need to be a little bit close together, or it needs to be a very unique angle, and then it's gonna bounce to an ally. This also applies to enemies. If I hit this enemy, it bounces to the other enemy. Now this also applies, if you've seen the trailer, to enemies and allies. Now if there's an enemy and an ally together, you hit the ally, it bounces the enemy, deals damage and heals at the same time. Very effective. The numbers aren't too crazy, but the fact that you can hit 2 targets at once seem pretty good. You cannot hit an enemy because your aim is bad and you've been playing a lot of Cloak and Dagger. You could just hit the ground, but then you're losing, I guess, half the damage because it only bounces once, right? This is, again, very unique feature, right? You can use it in a lot of ways. You know, you can hit enemies around corners. It's not stopping you to do that, right? If an enemy's hiding behind a corner, you can just like hit the ground next to them and it's gonna heal. It's gonna do damage. I do want to point out as well, it doesn't bounce to allies that are full HP. So it's gonna avoid wasting your charge. It doesn't trigger twice on the same person. If there is no person next to that one person you're healing, I don't think it actually triggers twice. I might be a crackhead for saying this. I think the 2nd charge actually heals less. We're learning together, by the way, because I don't have much time to test, and we're gonna do the review later. But from what I can see, I'm pretty sure that the 2nd kit actually heals less. I might be a crackhead. I need the guy to stop shooting. I might get corrected later down the line, but you know, either way, I think rivals should have a better description of their abilities so we don't have to guess. Anyways, you have 2 ability pages. So you have this, and then you have this. Now, this is for her ultimate. It's a transformational, like Hulk, but works a little bit differently. Now, let's talk about her abilities. What are the charges for? The charges are to use your ability, your right click to be exact, but it also gets consumed whenever you turn into a fox. Yes, you can turn into a fox. You can actually turn into a fox in 2 different situations. Now, her right click, this heals and makes you invulnerable for a very short time, right? For a very short time, it might seem familiar to you and has a very short cooldown, but it consumes 1 charge. If you hit an enemy, they get charmed, and whenever an enemy is charmed, this also applies to Luna and her new team up, they actually move towards you. So they're stunned for a very short time. I assume that when they're charmed, genuinely applies like a stun. So if somebody's Iron Man oating, you could stun them like this. Boom, Iron Man oat gone. Probably you're gonna ask yourself, why do the charges matter here? The charges matter here not because you won't have enough charges at any point to use your right click, because if you've seen this, the cooldown is 6 seconds, and by the time you get the next, cooldown, you could very easily get a new charge, and it's not even hard, right? I'm just shooting single targets here. The caveat here is that whenever you enter your Fox form, which is your E, if you're playing on keyboard, which is this, and you leave Fox form, as you can see, it consumes charges. And actually, your duration of your Fox form depends on how many charges you have. So it could be 7, 8, or 9 seconds. Now, what does the Fox form do? Fox form makes you a melee character that heals. Now, this slightly heals next to allies. And this also heals whenever you do damage. So it kinda is heal pool, right? As you can see here. These are the normal attacks. Now, the question here is, I have noticed while doing this, is that I actually have a lot of charges. Oh yeah, that's because I have no cooldowns. I was kind of confused. I was wondering if my charges get, you know, refreshed whenever I get a kill. What else can you do in the Fox form? Let me just double check something here. If I take damage, use Fox form, yeah, I'm getting healed quite a bit. So this is a very good anti-dive tool. I feel like if BP dives you and you go Fox form, you're probably gonna rock his shit, excuse my French. But if you do use your Fox form, you have new abilities. So the first thing is your right click. This is no cooldowns. I'm sorry, it might be a little bit confusing. So this is a 3-second cooldown, knocks people up. And your Fox form, by the way, is a 15-second cooldown. I know it's a little bit messy, my description of everything. 15-second cooldown, 3-second cooldown on the right click. Now, let me go back into Fox form. Knocks people up. And then you have your shift. And your shift actually grapples enemies, and then after that you can use it again. That's only if you hit your first shift. So let me remove cooldowns again. As you can see, I cannot use my Fox form nor my right click without any charges, by the way. So charges are very, very crucial to this character. So if I use my Fox form and I dash to an enemy, I jump over them, and then I can do this. Now, it's a little bit laggy, don't mind me, because it's always laggy whenever I play the test servers because they're based in America. But if I do this again, you know, you can boop enemies quite far, right? So, question here that I am asking myself right now is, does this stop people from moving? No. So, you cannot stop people from moving, but you can jump over the head, right? So, you can do a lot of schmovements, right? So, if I go for a right click, I can grab them in the air, and I can do a lot of damage, right? You can do some combos as well, right? So if I use my Fox, I'm sorry, that doesn't work the way you think it does. That character was just low HP. This is a new skin for White Fox, by the way, if you're interested. Very muscular, very hot woman. Now, jump over the head. Right, you can do that. You can even combo with your normal abilities, right? You can use a right click. You can use a right click. And yeah. You can actually use your right click here, stun them, and then grapple them and knock them up and then hit them, right? Like, you can do a lot of very interesting combos. I think you can probably one-shot people, right? So if I hit my right click, this seems pretty good. The people that do all the combos and one-shot tech actually, you know, find the animation cancels and practice it, clean it up a bit. But this is a very basic example of what you can do. It will cost you a lot, but it can be very good if you're trying to assassinate a support, if you're trying to assassinate a diver, that pesky daredevil coming for your backline. Don't worry, White Fox got you. And speaking of dealing with dive, you have one more ability that's very, very good for anti-dive. If you were being dove, you can just TP. And whenever you TP, you actually place a shield. And that shield has 200 HP. Now, it lasts for a little bit of time. It doesn't disappear immediately, and it gives you a good escape tool. Let me remove my ability cooldown so I can show you the cooldown on this. It's a 12-second cooldown. Now, it instantly heals. I had to double check here. So let me see if I can heal these 2 targets there. This is your escape tool. Like, if things go bad, you can just go in and you can just TP away. You can also follow up your BP, Daredevil, Venom, whatever. Whoever needs your help, you can just TP to them across the map. As a matter of fact, I assume that you can probably flank, do a bunch of damage, do a lot of chicanery, and whenever your team needs help, you can just TP back to them. Or vice versa, right? I think this character is very good for dive. This character will see that the enemy team is running dive or the enemy team is focusing the backline. You can pick White Fox. You can just TP to your divers or TP somewhere else, right? Venom dives in, DD dives in. They don't know where you TP. You just teleport across the map. You teleport behind walls as well. It doesn't matter if there's a wall or not. And you place a little shield. This is a very, very strong ability. Now, I do want to point out that the main weakness of this character is quite legitimately the fact that her cooldowns are extremely long. And she has charges, right? Her right click is a 6-second cooldown, which is a really strong ability because, again, it makes you invulnerable. Also charms enemies, deals damage, and I'm pretty sure heals. Yes. So if you hit it in a team fight, this seems like a very good ability. If you do use your Fox form, that's a 15-second cooldown. And then you have your shift, which is another 12-second cooldown, right? So if you spam your abilities, you're most likely dead. But if you're very smart, you can outlive everything. For her basic abilities, let's talk about her very, very interesting ultimate that a lot of people have been mad about online. It doesn't work the way you think it does. It actually works very differently, and I like the way it works, right? I don't have the best track record, you know, calling whether or not an ability or ultimate is good. I think this one is maybe good. We'll see. Oh. Now, it heals allies around you. The healing isn't that much. It also doesn't heal you, right? So if you're wondering if that 900 HP is going to stay there, keep getting healed up because of her passive, well, it's not. Now, what do you do when you're this Fox? You can't really do much. You can press mouse 1, which does heal you if you hit enemies. It does not heal if you don't hit enemies. Let me remove cooldowns. You can also heal allies across the map. I don't know the range of this. This is go through walls. We're about to find out. So this is the range. I assume it's like 40 meters, maybe 50. I know the math on this. But you can give an ally a little passive buff for a very short duration that heals them and makes them invulnerable. Now, I assume that this ultimate would make everybody invulnerable. No, it only makes one person or multiple people invulnerable, right? Not invulnerable, I'm sorry, not invulnerable. Immune to CC, right? You could apply this to your entire team, but there's a caveat. Issue here is that every time you use your right click, it actually takes 100 HP from your ultimate. And why is that bad? Well, the only way you can actually heal yourself is only if you hit enemies with your left click. So you cannot get healed by other sources. Now, mind you, the left click is a lot of heals. You do get healed quite a bit if you actually hit it. And you can see that your allies also get healed quite a bit. As a matter of fact, if you are aggressive and you hit enemies, you can do a lot of work. But even if you do get healed, it doesn't really matter if you're playing against something like Punisher, who punishes you for having a big hitbox like he does every other tank. This character, whenever they ult, they're gonna be a walking target. First, because they don't have much movement. Second of all, because they just can't get healed by their teammates. Only if they, you know, hit their left clicks. Now, you could play this by sitting afar and just buffing your teammates and then pressing mouse 1. You could play this also as I'm getting dove, I'm on HP, and this guy's gonna kill me. So I'm just gonna use my Fox form and, you know, go ham. This is also a valid way to do this, because you do heal to full and you do become a little bit of a menace to society. Now, not to mention that the tides of battle are turned, because now you're this big ass Fox that is about to beat everyone up, and you can buff your teammates. Also, whenever you hit your mouse 1, you do need to be pretty close to them, and it only hits once unless you're right next to them, at which point it does hit twice. I assume the claw itself does damage, and then the AoE does damage as well. So if you want to do maximum amount of damage, you do need to be kissing them, basically. Like, it needs to be like this, right? You need to be, your nose needs to be right next to them. Now, I do want to point out the model is very beautiful. Other than that, I think that's about it for the character, really, right? My thoughts on the character are that this is a very good support. You know, this is a very fun support. I do not see this character being played too much unless Gambit is banned, because Gambit is still the most broken support character in the game, in my opinion. I might be wrong. I do believe this is the best option now for dive. If your team is playing hardcore dive, I think this support is it. People would usually pick Jeff, because Jeff would not need too much healing and could stay far away. I honestly believe that a composition with White Fox and Jeff could be valid, especially in pro play. And the reason why that is because you don't need to peel for your backline. This character doesn't need any help. This character can heal themselves, can TP, can place a shield, can stun, And if things go really badly, they can ult, and that, you know, just nullifies their dive. And so I believe it's very, very good. And I also believe this character is quite lethal, especially with their Fox form. And I also believe that this character is gonna be the first time support players will actually have to not heal bot, because I don't see why you would heal bot. I feel like if you heal bot on this character, you're probably throwing the game. I believe the way this character will be played, will be enjoyed, is if you're actually taking off angles, because there's no reason for you not to take an off angle, poke their supports, look for a kill, and then if things go bad, again, you can just teleport. You can just go ahead and TP to your team. This is very good. This is very good, and I'm very excited to see what people like Kaiji or Zype are going to do with this hero. So this is a very support-centric season in the sense that maybe it's time for people to learn a different way of playing support. You know, you don't need to heal bot, especially with the new ult charge nerfs, which is, if you don't know, 20% across the board, slower charge for ultimates. I would assume that there's going to be a lot more neutral game, and I would assume characters like White Fox maybe are going to be a lot better, maybe Knife is going to be better, or maybe Poke is going to be still OP. Who knows? Nobody knows. I will find out later today. If you want to click on my stream, I will probably be streaming at the exact same time as this video goes live. So if you're done with this video, you can click on my stream and check out the character live. And second of all, I know a lot of people are going to be asking, so I'm going to show you the skin that this character comes out with, which is this one, which is, again, a very hot skin. Who doesn't like women with tails? And this is the MVP animation. She's just a girly drinking her coffee. Beautiful. And, you know, you have the emotes. Again, her drinking coffee. And finally, her Lord icon, which is tough as hell. I'm gonna be honest, this is the toughest Lord icon, and wait for the animated icon because it's even tougher. Look at this bad boy, I was gonna say. I guess it's bad girl. This is hella tough. I'm sorry, but this is either negative aura to see in ranked, in the sense that it's a little bit too cringe, but maybe it's also hella tough to see in rank, because I will be honest, this kind of gives me Sung Jin-woo energy, right? This gives me some JoJo energy as well with a pose. I like it. I'm a big JoJo fan. So I'm excited to see Lord Fox Lady, or animated Lord Fox Lady, because it's going to be cool. Before I go, I'll be honest, character design-wise, I'll probably complain about the support character, but I do believe she is very good. She's hot, can't ask for more. She's bad, can't ask for more. Bad in a good way, and her abilities are very interesting and unique, and they reward proactive gameplay. And I hope she's played. I hope we do see more characters like this. I think, you know, whatever people say about Rivals, I think the new character releases, even if a little bit broken, have been very fun. So W Guang Guang, W Netties, W everybody, thank you so much for watching. See you very soon, and you can watch my stream and watch me crash out in rank. Anyways, have a good day. Goodbye.